Protecting the future of working families, Teamsters1932.org.
Working in the margins. Dealing with our challenges, assessing needs, and finding solutions. Short-term, mid-range, and long-term. Solutions can find us working in the margins. Today's world is a tough baseline. It's more difficult than ever to just exist or get by. And it's not getting any easier. Moving forward in today's world has become both an art and a science. Food, clothing, temporary shelter, long-term housing, short-term jobs, temporary employment, or long-range careers. It all takes some help and finesse. Not everyone can do it. It's an art and a science. And let's face it, not everyone is a scientist. Some people need more help than others. The basics like reliable transportation, internet, laundry, a regular shower, even water, those basics we all take for granted. Electricity, these are the challenges of those caught in the net. Are homeless, unhoused, housing challenged, living in the margins. People of all ages, young, middle-aged, senior citizens, entire families, male, female, all reasons and all walks of life. Anyone can find themselves living in the margins. Homelessness and the challenges that go with it are not going away, and we can't ignore them. It's just too expensive. We've got to do better. Take the next step forward. Tune in now and listen to Working in the Margins.
Hello, San Bernardino. This is Shazette Scott with Working in the Margins and Family Assistance Program. This show is designed to create a safe space to talk about current issues going on in our San Bernardino community with our unhoused and marginalized populations. I also give weekly updates about local community events and resources. Tonight, I want to start the show by letting folks know that are tuning in that this is a sensitive subject that we're going to talk about tonight. And I want folks to be, it could be triggering because we're going to be talking about human trafficking. So I want folks to find a safe space or find somebody, if you want to listen, find somebody to sit with you and we're enjoying the conversation. Here's some startling statistics on human trafficking. And these are the latest data that is generated by the California Women's Rights Group. The U.S. Department of State reports that an estimated 27.6 million individuals are currently victims of trafficking worldwide. Of all 50 states, California ranks first in reported sex trafficking cases, with 1,023 cases as of 2021. And so let's add 3 years of numbers to that. The National Human Trafficking Hotline reports that it received 50,123 signals or calls in 2021. This is the statistic that really, nearly 9 in 10 reported human trafficking cases involve sex trafficking. From 2015 to 2021, human trafficking cases that involved sex trafficking rose from 87 to 89% in California. And there was a case in 2023 in February where 48 people were arrested in San Diego for allegedly selling 41 people into sexual slavery. Of these 41 individuals, 8 were child sex trafficking victims, with the youngest being 13 years old. Now, community, you may think that you may live in areas and you're like, well, that doesn't happen here. And I want to tell you, sadly, it happens everywhere. And I think that once you know these statistics and that it is happening everywhere, that we should want to know and be better informed about what it looks like. So I have invited my colleague, Emily Dixon, from Family Assistance Program. She is our director of our human trafficking arm of program. It's called The Open Door. And a little bit about Emily. I'm going to let her tell you about what her experience has been over the last like 6 or 8 months, because as she's been in the program role of a director over the program. But Emily started her career as a human trafficking advocate and mentor in 2013. She's raised in San Bernardino. It's no surprise that she has led human trafficking advocacy efforts here in San Bernardino for over a decade. Her effectiveness is providing supportive services to victims of human trafficking, as well as educating community partners about awareness and prevention of commercial sexual exploitation of children. She earned the Children's Network Community, of course she did, Children's Network Community Service Provider of the Year Award in 2015, and again in 2017, along with her Open Door team, the Open Door team, which just highlights how committed she is to this work. She's getting awards for it, so that's so admirable. So I'm gonna let her talk to you a little bit about what she's been doing over this last 6 to 8 months as the program director over the Open Door. Welcome, Emily. I'm so happy that you could join me.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, awesome. I'm gonna pull your mic just a little closer.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, because I want everybody to hear every word you have to say. She good on the mic, Eric? Yeah? She good on the mic?
I'm here.
Okay, good. Thank you. We just want to make sure this is important information, so I don't want any of us to miss anything. So, Miss Emily, I want you to tell me, I know you've been in the director position of the Open Door human trafficking program. I want you to tell me what it's been like for you, just, how you've adjusted over the last, few months. And then we're going to get into some questions about, some of the work.
Absolutely. Yes, adjustment is definitely a descriptive word for what the last few months have looked like. And I feel that I'm still in an adjustment phase in this role. We've had a lot of transitions with some staff stepping away and new staff coming in and kind of trying to shift our approach and how we're combating this issue in our community
Right.
around human trafficking.
Awesome.
So one of those shifts in service delivery is having staff trained in intervention and prevention curriculum so that we're able to facilitate groups and provide more education and awareness to those survivors
That's
to kind
great.
of break the chains, break the barriers, help them to understand what their situation actually looked like.
Yes.
A lot of our
In real time, like the kids say, IRL.
yes, yes. Because, majority of the participants that we support, they feel that it was their choice. But, really having to break down, you did not wake up that morning and say, this is what I'm going to do today. No,
Right.
it was forms of manipulation and coercion that,
Happen. Right. What is human trafficking, Emily?
What is human trafficking?
Some of us need a real definition. We think we know.
Right.
We think we hear stories of, 18-wheelers coming up from the border with people shoved in the, thousands of people shoved in the back. And that's a form of it.
Absolutely.
But really, what does it look like right here on our streets?
So human trafficking is an illegal trade of people for exploitation to obtain forced labor services, for sexual acts, and all for the benefit of the trafficker, right?
Right.
And there's two types of human trafficking: sex and labor. And traffickers use force, fraud, and coercion to manipulate and get their victims to comply with their agenda and to force them into that
So
lifestyle.
I want to say that again, because that's people are like, well, what do I look for? Okay, if you have a kid or a family member and you're looking for force, say it again,
Force, fraud,
fraud,
and or coercion.
and or coercion. Okay, so those are the things that we are looking for in as far as behavior from a trafficker.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Man, I feel like I just know people hanging out.
Yeah.
What does that look like though in our community? What the right now, like what is the population? What is it going? What's going on in our community? Because that's what you're dealing with every day.
So in our community, you'll see more of the street level trafficking, and for this sexual exploitation side, that's actual street areas, streets and areas where traffickers take their victims and have them walk up and down and wait for buyers, is a term, to basically try to offer money for services, for sexual services from the victim.
Okay.
So that's the street level, and for the street level of labor, I mean, we're looking at, our fruit and flower vendors that you might see on a corner. You're going to work and you see them on the corner with their stands or, with their buckets of flowers, and, you get off of work and they're still there. Have they really had a break? Did they have their, are they being paid minimum wage? Things of that sort.
I have never thought about it, and I see them all day, and I've never thought that they could possibly be being trafficked. But I do have the knowledge that some people come over here to seek a better life, and they have like sponsors, or they have to pay coyotes in order, so. It makes sense, So when you say, I think for us old heads, I don't know about age, but I know us old heads, traffickers used to be called pimps.
Yeah.
They were pimps. They were,
The
and
cool guys.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
The finessers.
right. Some women, they trusted, and were, married to, or in a relationship with the pimp. I think at some point in my culture, I know like back during like the 70s, and they would have the black exploitation movies, and it was cool to be a pimp in the movies. They had, it was manly, and and I think
Glamorized.
It was glamorized. I just remember these really pseudo negative characters, wearing the hats and
The loud suits.
with the loud suits and the fish in the platform shoes, and and it wasn't looked as negatively until that is a sign of progression for us. Yes, yay,
Because
America.
we're recognizing.
Because we recognize that these were not victimless crimes.
Absolutely.
That they were. I
also want to add
please.
that in addition to the street level trafficking that goes on in our community, there's also a very big underground part, and these
talk
are
about that. I want to know about what
internets, brothels, massage parlors, strip clubs, even domestic servitude for the labor trafficking side, nannies, maids, things of that sort. That they are in a situation that they're being trafficked.
Right.
So don't forget about that. Just because we might not see it as much, it still is going on.
Right.
It's still very much.
And
so
I
going
think
on.
we're all kind of savvy enough, and if not, I know we all watch probably a little too much TV. But I've read, like doing research, I've read where there are indentured servants that come here to work, and they have their passports taken away from them, or their IDs taken and held, by the people that there's, and then the rules keep changing.
Absolutely, debt bondage.
Debt bondage.
Yeah, so a price to pay, and you have to complete these tasks,
Right.
and you pay off that debt, right? But hey, I've been giving you food, Going to housing you, so now your debt starts to increase, and it's just an ongoing bill that they'll never be able to pay.
So see, these are things. We're going to go to break here in a minute. These are things we should be looking for as a community, as a society, with not only in our, we don't need to go knocking on our neighbors' doors looking for this. We need to be looking at our own families. We need to be looking at, our girls, our moms, even our husbands, because they come, some of our neighbors come from across, from Mexico or from across our borders, and they are looking for a better life. And we don't ever really know what they had to do in order to or what they're having to do in order to stay here. So that's we need to be aware, and we need to talk about it more.
Absolutely.
We absolutely need.
And
I
it can
think
be your child's classmate.
Exactly. So we need to start looking for the signs so that we can start, looking out for people. We're going to go to break right now. It's been a really, it's a hard conversation for me because I just want to help people. But we'll be right back and we'll keep talking. Thank you.
This is KCAA.
Calling all business owners, this is your moment. Join us for the 14th annual Connecting Faith in Business Summit happening on October 17th at the beautiful Doubletree Hotel in Ontario, California. Registration opens at 9 a.m. and the conference kicks off at 10 a.m. sharp. This isn't just another business event, it's a gathering of minds and hearts where faith and entrepreneurship comes together. Bakers, SBA representatives, and marketing experts will be there to equip you with powerful tools to grow your business. Plus, we'll take a special moment to pray for your business because we know that true success is built on faith. Don't miss out. Go to ampac.com today to register or call 909-915-1706. Step into your purpose and unlock the resources you need for your business to thrive. We'll see you there at the 16th annual Connecting Faith in Business Summit, where your faith and future connect.
This important time-sensitive message is brought to you by this station's generous sponsor, George Litchfield Associates, who has important Medicare information for all current and future Medicare recipients about some big changes happening. Medicare Clarified. Medicare is a nonprofit consumer service organization.
It's more important than ever to review your Medicare plan for 2025 from October 15th through December 7th. To find out if you're in the right plan for you, people are calling 951-769-0005. 951-769-0005. A popular and local Medicare plan is improving. Others are raising copays and adding deductibles. Biggest changes in the Medicare drug program in 15 years.
We thank George Litchfield and Litchfield Insurance for their generous support of this radio station.
KCAA.
Welcome back, San Bernardino. This is Working in the Margins. I'm Shazette Scott with Family Assistance Program, and you're listening to KCAA 1050 AM and Express 106.5. I'm here with my colleague, Ms. Emily Dixon from Family Assistance Program. She is the program director for the Open Door program, which is the human trafficking program, how we serve human trafficking population, the marginalized population. So Emily, because I want to make sure I get all the good stuff in, all the information, because I always think there is somebody that's listening that knows something or knows somebody. So I don't care if this is only one person listens and they get something out of it. Tell me, are there any specific demographics or groups that are more vulnerable to human trafficking?
Absolutely. Traffickers, as we know, target very vulnerable populations such as foster youth, individuals with a history of sexual, physical, and emotional abuse, broken homes, poverty, and mental illness or mental health challenges. And, their goal is to get in there, build rapport, build trust, and then kind of,
Right.
go for the kill, unfortunately.
It's sad because you know that those populations are already enduring and surviving so many other things.
Absolutely.
And then they have people that are actually preying on them to, what type of services, let's think about, I want to move on to the positive. What type of services does the Open Door program offer to the clients?
So we offer therapy, case management, empowerment, advocacy and mentorship services, crisis counseling, court support. If there's a participant that has to testify against their trafficker, or they're fighting a case that has to do with their victimization, we also provide safety relocation travel expenses. We'll try to resource that out. We provide emergency clothing, food, hygiene, transitional housing as well. We do have 2 homes, 4 beds each home, total of 8 beds for adult survivors of human trafficking that are looking to get out. Life skills groups, human trafficking education groups for the survivors, because education and awareness is everything for them to be able to get out, stay out, recognize their situation for what it was.
Learn that it's wrong. Learn
Absolutely.
that it was not good for them. That's awesome. And I know you help employment services. I know you help
Financial literacy
financial
classes.
literacy, everything that it needs to take for somebody really to get back up on their feet. And I know that we're unique. Family assistance is unique in the space that we have. We have homes that we can transition people through. It's hard enough being out there as a survivor, you know, and you're still, a lot of the time you can't even get away from your abuser, you know, to try to seek services, you know, or you're afraid to.
You're afraid to leave out of the house.
Right. Do you help with restraining orders or like things like that if you need them?
Absolutely, yes. Restraining orders, and we'll rely on other resources as well to kind of step in and help them navigate that situation. We help them with filling out a victims of crime application and compensation of lost wages. Law enforcement really recognizes that this is a crime, and these individuals are victims.
Right.
So
Sometimes the victims commit crimes in the course of their being victimized.
absolutely.
What does that look like for you as an advocate when you have to go to court? What is that? Because like you said at the beginning, some of the victims, the survivors, they're like, you know, it was normal. It was, you know, it was what it was.
It was part of their life.
And sometimes, you know, but they get caught up. You know, they get arrested or they end up committing crimes, and then you find out, oh, they were trafficked into this, you know. So what happens if do they get leniency for being a victim? Or is there new information or support for that?
So survivors are recognized as victims. They, you know, law enforcement, the courts recognize that these individuals were preyed upon, and we've worked closely with the district attorney's office here in San Bernardino County and throughout other counties to, you know, for case dismissals and things of that sort, and just, you know, kind of update them on our clients' progress in housing and program, things of that sort. And then, unfortunately, you know, there are survivors that have been charged with human trafficking.
Right.
Because, you know, the victims are made to, are forced to
Groom
recruit
others
and
and
groom.
recruit.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But initially, they started off as a victim.
As a
This is
victim.
something that they are forced to do, and there's
Right.
consequences to pay if it's not done.
Right.
And victims become victimizers. So then
Right.
you have that piece too. But that's why I stress education and awareness.
Right. Right.
You know?
Right. I think the general public should know a little bit more about it. It wouldn't hurt to teach some type of course in school so, you know, students can learn when they're old enough to understand. I guess that would be maybe junior high school, you know, but they can start to see in their friends, you know, different things, you know, that might not be right, you know. I said the same thing about other victimizations, you know, if the kids can see it, you know, like domestic violence, you know, if the kids can see it in their friends, or they say, you know, or they hear kids talk to kids, you know,
Absolutely.
and they tell each other things, you know, that they might not tell, you know, that they may not, maybe they were told not to tell.
Absolutely.
But they told their friend because they just have to, you know. So does that friend, you know enough to say, you know, hey, teacher, I think that this kid, you know, I think my friend needs help, you know. So I don't think we could educate ourselves too early
Absolutely.
or enough.
And I do want to say or give a shout out to our outreach coordinator, Bernadette, because she has been getting in the schools and being able to facilitate trainings for students, parents, faculty,
That's
so that,
awesome.
yeah, it's, you know, if one person in each of those trainings gains some knowledge and shares it with 10 other people,
Exactly.
and those 10 other people share it with 10 other people,
Each
we're
one
bringing
teach
about
one.
awareness.
We'll
Absolutely.
bring about great awareness. What is the program? How does the program work with local law enforcement or other agencies around your human trafficking?
San Bernardino PD, I have to give a shout out to Officer Cruz. She's amazing. And so how we partner with them is they'll bring us in on sting operations and allow us the opportunity to provide program information to make the victims aware of their options. Because in that situation, traffickers, you know, may say things like, nobody wants you, I'm the only one who's going to love you, and things of that sort to kind of hold that victim in place.
Right.
So, you know, they create that opportunity for us to bring about some kind of awareness, right?
Awesome.
And if they have a victim that maybe they pulled over with their trafficker, they'll call us into the police station and say, hey, we
That's
have somebody
amazing.
here. Can you come in and provide them information? So they're trying to connect these survivors
That's
to
great.
resources.
That's great. I love that. That makes sense because they are probably coming across them first,
Absolutely.
you know, in the commission of crimes and things like that. So, what challenges have you faced so far? Like, what have been some of your challenges
Okay.
besides housing? I know.
Right. Not enough emergency beds.
I know.
I'll say that. But when I think of challenges and working with this population, I have to refer back to the stages of change, because anytime you're trying to change a behavior, there are stages to that, right? Unfortunately, you know, in the stages of change, there's the stage of relapse. And relapse and recidivism, right? And
Right.
it's, you know, it's challenging because we might have worked with a survivor for 2 to 6 months, and you know they were doing well, but unfortunately, they don't get the same fast results in
Right.
program as they do in the life.
Right.
Job searching and maybe no callbacks, discouraging,
Right.
right?
No
maybe the-
transportation sometimes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Or maybe being hired and being fired.
Right.
Or maybe school's too hard. And it just, you know, I can go back to what I know. I can go back to what I was accepted. And that's, I would say that's one of the most challenging things in providing
Right.
support for this
Yeah,
population.
changing the mindset. You know, I think, and I know it happens to men too.
Absolutely.
I mean, and that is, you know, it happening to anybody is unfortunate, but we know that the majority are women, and I have always wondered, what are we not teaching our girls? What are we? Maybe it's just a really, really big problem, but why are the numbers aren't going down? They're going up. So what are we not teaching our kids or our community about it that is going up?
So I think it also has to do with media and you know, people, attractive people, famous people that kind of normalize sexual exploitation and self-exploitation and things of that, and encouraging, you know, young girls to get a sugar daddy and you know, to use what you have to get what you want.
Use what your mama gave you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And that only encourages and normalizes all of these behaviors.
Right. Right.
So it's
right.
very sad, but you know, we have to continue reiterating that's not okay.
It's not okay. It's not. That's not. You know, the life is not the life.
And educating on the harm, like the
Exactly. And it breaks up families, and it just, you know, every time I get announcements from neighbors and things, you know, somebody's missing, my sister's missing, or can you know, have you seen her flyers and things like that? And I always want to say, you know, I hope to God that they weren't trafficked. You know, that they weren't a part, because things like you said go on the internet. There's traps, you know, barriers, things that happen, you know, on, you know, like underground, like you
Yeah,
said.
for sure.
And I'm like, we can't know everything about, we can't know everything.
And traffickers want to, they want to use the glitter and the glamorous approach, and nobody talks about what it really looks like behind closed doors,
Exactly,
right?
or what you're going to have to do for that sugar daddy.
And
Nobody talks about what you're going to have to do for him,
right,
know?
right. And I want to share this out of the last 11 years that I've been, fighting this good fight. Open Door has lost six clients that we worked with, some to the life, some from mental health issues. So if it were that glitzy and glamorous,
Right.
why do we have that? Why do we have that outcome?
Exactly. Exactly. Tell me your mission moment. I want to hear your mission moment. You talked about law enforcement and how we work with law enforcement. Tell me about your mission moment.
Okay, so just a couple of months ago, we partnered with law enforcement on a sting op that they facilitated in San Bernardino County, and in that sting op, they held 14 survivors for the purpose of Open Door advocates coming in and bringing forth education, program information, and opportunities to get into transitional housing.
Awesome.
Initially, the survivors didn't really want to talk to us. You got to think about it. They're all under pimp instructions, right? Traffickers' instructions. They're not allowed to talk to anybody really who's going to make them double think about their situation.
Exactly.
So, we recognized that was what was going on. They don't, want to talk with us. So we took the opportunity to stand in front of them and share program information and to really talk about, the dark side of the life.
Exactly.
And, we had some active listeners in the group. So we went, we went home feeling okay, like, okay, at least we planted some seeds, if nothing
Right.
else. But a week later, we received a hotline call from one of those individuals that was at that sting operation that told us, I kept your card. My trafficker beat me. I ran out of the room. I have my purse. Can you guys come get me? I'm over here. And we were able to bring that individual back to the office after the assessment and trying to get her into a place. She opted to reunify with family in LA, and we were able to provide that transportation to get her
What a
there.
great outcome. I pray for her success and to that things always work in favor of her staying out of the life. That's awesome. You guys are doing such great work. I'm so it always, every time I bring on a client or a program from our agency, I'm like, man, we're doing great stuff. We're just doing great work. We're out there. We have people out there that care. So that's awesome. Emily, I'm gonna wrap up with you. I want to say thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate
Thank you for inviting me.
You talking to me and sharing about this great information and the work that you do, and the work that our other colleagues work on, that they do with the human trafficking. Do you have a quote for me that you would like to share to tell us how you feel about doing this work?
I do.
Okay.
My favorite quote is, what if I fall? But, oh, my darling, what if you fly? And I love that because it reminds us that we shouldn't fear failure.
Right.
And we should think of it as opportunities to grow and to learn from from those instances.
Take a risk.
Yes.
Take a risk.
I still struggle sometimes, but
that's okay. I wasn't 2 months ago. I didn't know what this was. A radio show, a podcast, guest, show prep, engineer. I didn't know what this is. And at 57, they say old dogs don't learn new tricks, but I have learned a whole new trick, and it's taken off. And I am so honored to be able to represent the agency this way because I've said in all my shows, I think that I was offered this wonderful seat at the table in this community to be able to share. And I'm bringing everybody I know along because I feel that, we have resources and services and information that we can share.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy that you were able to come on. You did great.
Thank you.
And we're going to go to break.
Can I provide the audience our
Yes,
hotline
let me hold on, Eric. We're going to give the hotline number for the Open Door. It's the Family Assistance Human Trafficking Program, and their director is Miss Emily Dixon. And the hotline number, Emily?
909-333-7476. That's 909-333-7476. And I do want to say, if you suspect that there's human trafficking going on, or that somebody is a victim of human trafficking, I do encourage you to call your local law enforcement to report that. Our hotline is to receive referrals for survivors that may want services, may need services, and to schedule trainings and things of that sort.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. And more importantly, Emily, your community thanks you for you and your team for doing this work.
Of course.
I appreciate you.
We will keep fighting.
All right, we're going to go to break, and I'll be back with some announcements and some updates. And take it away. Thank you.
This is KCAA.
One of the best ways to build a healthier local economy is by shopping locally. Teamster Advantage is a shop local program started by Teamster Local 1932 that has brought together hundreds of locally owned businesses to provide discounts for residents who make shopping locally their priority. Everything from restaurants like Corky's to fun times at SB Raceway and much, much more. If you're not currently a Teamster and you want access to these local business discounts, contact Jennifer at 909-889-8377, extension 224. Give her a call. That number again is 909-889-8377, extension 224.
KCAA Loma Linda.
Hello, San Bernardino. This is Shazette with Working in the Margins and Family Assistance Program. And I want to thank my guest again, Miss Emily Dixon from Family Assistance. She's the director of the Open Door. It's our human trafficking division right here down in San Bernardino. I'm going to share some announcements with you. I'm going to share some updates with you. I did some fun stuff over the weekend. I went to the State of the Black IE this past Saturday, and it was put on by the California Legislative Black Caucus, Dr. Corey Jackson, who's Assembly member out of the 60th, and it was sponsored also by Isaac Bryan. He's the Assembly member out of the 55th. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was amazing. It was well attended. It was so informational. Things that we kind of like get caught up. We get caught up with a lot of other things, and so we don't really look into, like, we don't drill down into specific, ethnicities or cultures or things like that. But this was information about the Black community, and it was eye-opening. It was a little sad, but what was important, what I took away, was that there is awesome effort in San Bernardino County and Riverside County to address some of these issues, like infant mortality, death rates in African Americans, and racial justice, the issue of reparations. There was a great presentation by Candace Mays and Alex Reed of the Mapping Black California team. The information that they provided was demographically. If you are a city official, you should go and find out from them. You can go online and you can Google BEIDATA report.com, and it's BEID atareport.com, and it gives you the demographics for your specific city, your by nationality, and it was just great information. We have a lot to work on, San Bernardino, but I love the effort that people are coming together to work on, address these issues, and heal some of the the things that ail us in San Bernardino as a culture, as a people, as a community. I was also able to on Monday we hosted a Hire Lunch and Learn. Hire is our employment program, our reentry employment program that we have at Family Assistance that helps people that are coming out of prison or parole, probation, folks, our reentry population, formerly incarcerated, to find work once they come out of jail or prison. And it was very well attended. I want to thank everyone in the community that came. There were lots of county offices and some nonprofits. It was great. We shared about the importance of work, and Hire is a program that it's funded by Workforce Development in California, the state of California, and it helps. There's a lot of money going toward endeavors to assist the reentry population because they are closing jails and they're letting folks out. And conditions of release for a lot of these folks is that they have to have employment within a certain amount of time if they can work, if they are able to work. So we are a part of that with the Hire program. We are the hub. It's a hub and spoke model, which I love because it just breeds collaboration, and I love collaboration. We are the hub, and we have 6 spokes of other local nonprofits that also do services for reentry. I want this type of hub and spoke model to take fire across this county when it comes to addressing some of our marginalized populations. Last week also, I was able to attend our Central Regional Homeless Provider Network meeting, and that's like nonprofits and some city officials. The co-chair is the city councilwoman, Sandra Ibarra from City of San Bernardino. And something we did new at the meeting was that we broke up into groups and we talked about 4 populations of our marginalized communities that we could come around and try to help and assist with joint efforts and joint resources. We had 4 groups. It was reentry, and it was TAY age 18 to 24, seniors, and then families with children. And we had wonderful people in the room to talk about the issues that face these populations. Children's Fund Services, Miss Betty was there. She facilitated. Maricela Manzo from Inland Housing Solutions, she facilitated the seniors. Their agency is moving toward help with them. Our agency, our Carly Kalinich, she facilitated the reentry group. And then Oscar Lobos and Caitlin from our Open Door, our LGBTQ shelter, facilitated the TAY group. And it was a buzz. It was just a buzz with information and ideas and conversation. So I was really happy to be a part of that. Last night, I believe Tuesday, I'm sorry, I lost track of time. Tuesday night, we were able, Family Assistance with Victory Outreach Church over in San Bernardino off of Mills. They're awesome. They are a wonderful partner to us. And we were able to hold a candidate forum, a San Bernardino County education candidate forum, and we had, I believe it was 10 candidates that were running for school district or college district, and they came and they were able to answer questions. We were able to get it videoed. Hopefully the videotape will be out soon because we can send it out to people. If you are interested, which we all should be, in education or your schools and your cities, you're going to want to watch that forum. It was great, great information, great responses, and you get to meet some of your candidates that are running for school board, school district here in San Bernardino County. We have some upcoming events, just a few. Of course, I want to mention our Family Assistance has our gala, and that's coming up in the beginning of November 2nd, from 5 to 10. It's at the Hilton Garden Inn Conference Center in Victorville. You can still get tickets. There's a QR code. I'm going to figure out how to do this thing on the QR code. I kind of want to hold it up to the TV, but you won't be able to see it. I'm going to get a phone number. For the meantime, call me, 909-908-8053. So this month, I want to go back a little bit. I totally skipped over a couple of things. This month, first of all, while I'm wearing my pink shirt and with my Susan G. Komen ribbon, is that I am a breast cancer survivor. And this is my 18th year, next week on the 15th. And if I had a bell, I would shake it and wave it because 18 years, every year just gives me more peace to know that I'm far removed from that cancer diagnosis, and I'm well into my healing. And I'm so busy, I don't really get time to think about it, Thank you, Eric. I like that. Thank you. And I honor it, and I honor it for people that I know and love, people that I have lost in this game. 18 years now, I've lost some sisters to this, people that I loved, but I cheer you on, survivors. Keep going, keep going, keep going. This is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So that was, this interview with Emily about human trafficking was one of the first interviews. I'll be having a couple of other domestic violence advocates come on throughout the month to talk about the domestic violence awareness. And today is actually World Homeless Day. So I want to shout out to all you people out there that are doing work with our homeless and unhoused populations. We want to celebrate the fact that we have the means and we have the will and we have the desire to help our homeless populations on the streets, and we want to keep talking about the issues that affect them, and that's how we're going to keep celebrating World Homeless Day. We're going to keep talking about the issues that affect our homeless folks on the street, which brings me to a subject about homeless encampment and the work that's going on to remove homeless encampments. It was an edict that came down from the governor, and there was money, and then the governor says, I'm not going to give you any money if you don't get serious, follow these rules, do these things. And so we've been in preparation. San Bernardino had an injunction where they couldn't really do anything, but now that's been lifted. So now we're starting to see plans for encampment cleanups and encampment movement. And all I'm going to say about this is that I want people to watch what happens, to see what happens. Where are these folks going? Let's pay attention to that. Let's continue. Once they're off the street and they're out of our parks, let's make sure we know where they're going so that we can support them in their efforts to try to get off the streets. I think that if you're a nonprofit and you have bed availability or you have shelter availability, step forward and let the agencies that are conducting the encampment cleanups, let them know that so that we can provide to these folks that are being moved out of their encampments into whatever next step is for them, whether it be shelter or housing or transitional, reunification. So if you, again, I ask you, if you are a nonprofit in this county and you have availability for housing or beds, please reach out to some of the agencies that are cleaning up the encampments and offer your help and your services. Another couple of announcements, event announcements. There are Your Voice, Your Vote, Your Vote, Your Voice. That's with Acoma Unity Center on Saturday, October 19th from 4:30 to 7 p.m. Meet me there. I'll be there. It's with my great friend and city council member, Kimberly Calvin. And it's going to have, she's got some very special guests, Dr. Gwen Dowdy Rogers, who's awesome, and she does great work with youth. Myra Sabalos and Felicia Alexander, from some advocates from the city of San Bernardino. So Your Vote, Your Voice, again, is Saturday, October 19th, 4:30 to 7. I'm going to shout out for it's called Coptoberfest. I got to say that. Coptoberfest. It's October 15th, and it's at the San Bernardino Police Department. It's from 4 to 7:30, and it's their third annual Coptoberfest. They're going to have food and games and everything, and it's a way for the community to interact with law enforcement in a positive way. So also in October on the 24th, is from 3 to 7. It's the Black Worker Wellness Fair. Black Worker Wellness Fair is at the Epic Event Center in Rancho Cucamonga. And it's going to be food and entertainment and free worker resources and things like that. But it's the Black Worker Wellness Fair at the and it's put on by the Black Worker Center of San Bernardino County. I think that's what I have for you tonight. Thank you again for tuning in. Those of you that tune in and listen, I appreciate you so much. I'm having a great time doing this. And when we have tough subjects, I just really like that the agency that I'm with, we have solutions for that. So I love that I get to bring people on. My quote for the night is, "Human rights are not a privilege conferred by government. They are every human being's entitlement by virtue of his humanity." And that is from Mother Teresa, rest her soul. Thank you for listening. This is Shazette with Working in the Margins, and you've been listening to KCAA 1050 Express 106.5. Thanks for tuning in.